We're here in Berlin at the Block Show Europe, and we're here with the CryptoKitties. Everybody knows CryptoKitties, so you're more powerful than Ethereum, actually.
Well, I don't know about that, but I mean, we certainly brought more people to the Ethereum, more people who are interested, especially cat lovers. So that's been a very interesting thing to do.
And there are a lot of cat lovers.
Yes, there is a lot. Yeah.
How many users do you have, actually?
Yeah, so we have the hundreds of thousands of users now, and yeah, like just a lot of people want to play a blockchain game. So fortunately for us, you know, we've gotten the chance to be able to get into a lot of media, and you know, people want to play CryptoKitties as their experience of learning about the blockchain. So that's kind of where we're at right now.
Wow. And did it actually start as a gimmick or like a joke, like friends sitting in a cafe? Oh, we have to do this.
Not quite like a joke like Doge, but you know, for us it was an experiment. So we wanted to do a project where we didn't do an ICO. We wanted to prove to the crypto space, the blockchain space, that you can build a sustainable and profitable company as you would with a startup. We come from a startup background. We focus on product development and user experience, the things that you normally look at when you're building like an Uber or an Airbnb, right?
True.
That's how you build a business.
Yeah.
So we were just kind of like, you know, this space got a lot of money early on. A lot of people made a lot of money, but you know, you start to see that some of these ICO projects, the people, they've never ran a company before. They don't have the experience for building user experiences that are amazing or seamless. So for us, it's really important. Our biggest mission is to onboard the first billion consumers to the blockchain, and that would be through CryptoKitties, but also through crypto blockchain games and entertainment experiences.
All right. So actually at the moment you're developing lots of other games, or what kind of games?
Yeah, we're working on a few. Yeah, with
Can
a
you-
couple
can
of
you-
partners. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Can you name the teams? Will it be the Crypto Dogs or?
No, it's not. It's going to be completely different from CryptoKitties. It's we in this space right now. The games that are out there, they're basically like very similar to CryptoKitties. The second thing is all of them are mostly HTML5. So the thing is, like with Neopets or RuneScape or Habbo Hotel, they were all web-based games. But you know, the gaming markets, they've moved to mobile. Mobile is the thing, right?
yeah, true.
So mobile native games is the current gaming markets, right? You look at PUBG, you look at Fortnite. You know, Fortnite raised like 300 mil, or they made 300 mil in revenue in 1 month, right? So these
Very
types of things-
popular with traders, actually.
Exactly.
Fortnite.
Yes, exactly. And not only that, esports and streaming, that's a really big thing too. So the gaming markets right now, in my opinion, they're interested in blockchain. And what's kind of like I go to a lot of gaming conferences too. Like I was at GDC, and it's really interesting to see the perspective of gaming companies and then the perspective of blockchain, like crypto events. They don't seem to be mixing or talking to each other as much. So for us, we're the ones chatting with both sides and educating both sides of like, hey, crypto people, you should understand more about games, and then gaming company, you should understand more about blockchain.
And what are your milestones for this year? I mean, what are you focusing on? Developing games or maybe other?
So really important is CryptoKitties. We want to launch it in Asia. So we've been, you know, working with a Chinese team in China, and as we know, the China climate is really complicated right now with crypto, and so we figured like, hey, we already had a lot of copycats in China, like Baidu, Tencent, 360, Xiaomi. They all copied CryptoKitties. They crypto dogs or like crypto rabbits, and that's a very interesting thing because the only tech companies like Facebook and Google, they've been copied in China or Twitter, right? And so for us, it's like, whoa, I guess we're big now because people in China are copying us, but I think it's a good thing because for us, the China market is huge for crypto and huge for gaming, and so it's a matter of like educating them on why this is important and working with partners to bring blockchain games to China, and not just China, but Japan and Korea as well.
So you're looking actually for millions of users. I mean, millions. I mean, these people are game crazy.
Yes, like I said, 1 billion consumers, right? So more than millions, a billion. And I mean, that's not going to be achieved in 1 year. There's a lot of things that need to be solved on the protocol level, but we're certainly very optimistic because we're really focused on the end user. Yeah.
And you still want to use like Ethereum as the network you want to develop on? Or?
So CryptoKitties will forever be on Ethereum. We'll never move it because the assets were created in Ethereum. But you know, for us, like, it doesn't matter what protocol we use. We want to provide the best user experience, but we don't want to sacrifice security. We don't want to pick a chain that's going to die, or the team will just run away or something like that. So the three things that we do when we consider a chain is like the brand, the community, and the technical aspect. If the brand is bad, we don't really want to build on top of it because there's already bad press on it, right?
And what is a bad brand in your eyes?
I'm not going to say, but there are chains that you probably know they started off on a rough patch, and then, you know, recovering from a brand is really difficult, right? Like if Nike did something or Pepsi did that ad, right? And the ad was like what was it, Kylie Jenner on a riot, and she's like giving Pepsi to people on a riot. Like, when you do this type of stuff to your brand, it's really hard to convince it again. So when you do this with whatever protocol you do, it's really hard to recover. So brand, community. So I look at the community and I'm like, are these people wanting to build with it? Or are they just shillers and pumping and dumping? They just don't give a shit, right? And when I see that, then it's not a good sign of like, how is this going to last long? When people are not there for building, they don't see long term, they just want to buy and sell and shill that or pump that thing, right? The third thing is the technical aspect. So then we look at like, scaling or governance, how can they do these things? What is different from them? So those are the three things that we look at when we're considering chains.
I mean, it is a marketing instrument that the CryptoKitties will, for instance, develop with Neo or with EOS. I mean, that will be for EOS and Neo very positive, of course.
I mean, all the chains right now, they want content, right? They're out there trying to convince developers to build games, build entertainment experiences, because we proved that, you know, that's going to be the thesis to which you would bring consumers to the blockchain, right? If no consumers come, then you have an empty chain that nobody cares about. And so no matter how good your consensus is or how good your scalability solution is, if you don't have anybody, then nobody cares, right? So it's a matter of achieving the masses.
And actually, the first name that pops up was like Neo. So
for which one?
Neo. So are you considering Neo to work with, or?
So we have a scaling team. So when we were consuming a lot of the transactions in the Ethereum network, we created a separate team that was focusing and talking to all the other chains and any second layer solutions like. Raiden or Lightning. So we talk to all of them. That team is looking to all the different chains. They talk to Neo as well. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have personal favorites? Sorry about this topic, but.
So I personally still believe I'm a big supporter of Ethereum. And for the people who have not seen Vitalik talk or been to an Ethereum hackathon, you should definitely go. And that's why I encourage everybody. Like, if you've never been to an Ethereum hackathon, you should go, because it's completely different from like Block Show. Because here you have a lot of investors, you have a lot of people who maybe made some money, and there's also people here that are good as well, building dApps. But you go to Ethereum an event, the community is so strong and they all want to build things. And Vitalik and his team is really, really smart. And so, you know, I'm a big supporter of what they do. But that being said, like, there's probably going to be more chains that will be pursuing that same method. They're just very early right now. They're not on the main net yet.
Did you get a message from Vitalik about the CryptoKitties, or?
He tweeted at us a couple of times, but it's kind of hard to get a reach of Vitalik. Yeah.
Did you ever meet him, or?
Yeah, we met him multiple times. Yeah.
Did you say something about CryptoKitties, or?
I made a shirt for Vitalik, and we launched the alpha version at ETH Waterloo. It was the world's first Ethereum hackathon. So Vitalik was there, And so it was funny because we pitched CryptoKitties to Vitalik. We're like, hey, we're going to put kitties on the blockchain. And he was like, okay, sure. And then like a few weeks later, then it started getting really, really big. Yeah.
It was a big problem. And I mean, did you run into any problems? I mean, did the Ethereum network contact you about this congestion on their network? I mean, did they say, yeah, you have to stop this, or?
Yeah, that was the crazy point in all of our lives. I mean, we got very little sleep, and there was just fires everywhere. And the worst is that there's fires that you can't put out, right? So Ethereum is its own network. Like if you have a startup, you have a fire, you just go to Amazon Web Service or you go to Google Cloud, and you're like, okay, pump up the servers or solve this problem. So you could fix the problem. Here, it's like 4 or 5 fires, and you're just like standing there, you're like, I can't do anything. And so we tried our very best, but there was just nothing that we could have done when we were at that pace.
It's like an immutable process.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
It was like the first-hand experience of like, oh, okay, you can't control this.
It's something different.
Yeah.
And what are your personal goals actually to be in this space? I mean, personal development. You're a very smart guy, obviously. So why are you in this space?
Personally, I want to expand the pie of the consumers. So I'm going to gaming conferences. We're getting into art exhibits. In Berlin, we're working with a contemporary artist to get CryptoKitties in a museum or an art exhibit. So we're trying to expand. We're trying to get new people to think about blockchain. Because you go to all these events, it's the same people all the time, and you just keep telling them the same thing, and they're like, cool. But what about all the rest of the world where they don't know anything about Bitcoin? What are we doing about that, right? Like even like all the interviews that I've done, everybody's focusing on providing news for the same people in this event, right?
Yeah.
So who is going to provide news for the rest of the billions of people who don't know about Bitcoin? And that to me is like a really big thing that we're focusing on and I'm focusing on.
Wow. And how's the team actually developing? I mean, this was a huge hit. You didn't have to do any marketing to get new talent, probably.
Yeah, we're growing. We're about 30 to 40 people now. We just raised a 12.6 million venture round for Series A, and with Andreessen and Union Square as our lead investors and a bunch of angel investors. And so, yeah, it's been super exciting. We're expanding. We want to grow CryptoKitties. We want to work on tools to help CryptoKitties to be better.
And a few questions. And do you think of maybe a decentralized app as well? Yeah.
Well, CryptoKitties is a decentralized app. Decentralized app is like so broad. It's like, are you building an app? Yeah, I guess so. But
true.
yeah, we are. We're building other things. Yes. Yeah.
And actually, do you do some trading yourself or hodling or?
So I have never invested in an ICO. I don't advise any ICOs. I get so much requests. I reject most of them. I only help projects that I think are really, really interesting. And in those cases, I would reach out and be like, hey, what can I do to help you guys? And there's very, very few that I select. It purely is because we don't travel that much. We're all in Vancouver, Canada, and we're always focusing on building products. And we could just call up anybody in the world and be like, hey, we have this problem. Why do we need to fly to all these places, right? So when we fly, we make sure that we do everything that we can. But to be honest, we're just building a lot of cool shit. And I think that in the coming months, when we kind of reveal it, it's going to be super exciting.
And for me, for other people, like the small people, can they have maybe a share in CryptoKitties, or you're not thinking of a public ICO? Or?
So you could buy some cats.
Yeah.
But in terms of equity, we are raising. But yeah, it's all private. Yeah.
It starts from 1 million.
No, way more. Yeah.
Okay, way more.
Yeah, way more.
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
And okay, so thank you very much. I hope you had a great time in Berlin, and all the best with developing.
Thanks for having me on your magazine.
Okay.
Cheers.